Hello and welcome to the garage. You may remember, if you've seen my 1000 subscriber video update, that the garage here was quite a mess. I have since tidied up. This whole shelving has been put up and it's a bit better organized. So this middle plateau was full of stuff that has now been organized, tidied up. This shelving unit has been tidied up. An extra little shelving unit has been put into place. That's all tidier. So the toolbox has moved. There's this now my diesel heater there. That will be a separate video. But for now, preparing this to pour concrete, I normally use planks. I do not have planks up to this height, so I thought I'd try some insulation panels. Put them all up with some concrete blocks, stones, and then we can pour concrete in here, along there. There's also here, it's a bit holy, and here as well, it's quite crumbly, and there's lots of spaces, lots of stones are loose. If this is loose, this is loose. If you knock against the stone, it becomes loose. This one here is loose. The big ones here, that one's still tight, but if I'm sometimes busy with things and moving around, things loosen up. And that is loose. So some things are tight, other things are loose, but to prevent any further erosion, loosening off, I want to pour concrete into here to stabilize all of that, as well as extend the working plateau. It'll be a bit easier here. There was a little bit covered with, I think, the very early form of cement. I want to fill that all up. So this is all being cleaned out, and I'll pour up to about here for the first one, and then second part another time. I still need to clean off the floor there of all the old manure or whatnot, as they used to have the cows inside here for feeding time. And I also had some holes in the floor that must have been posts at some point, so I need to fill those up. Then from the other side I'll fill once the fuel tank, oil tank has gone, and the same with that side. It's easiest to fill up from the other side. So, alright, welcome back to day 2. The paneling has all been put up. Got the first little bit of concrete from a previous bag left, which will be starting off the pour. I have filled in some spaces with some rocks and some stones that I found, as well as the hole down here has been filled. The idea is that once the concrete is in place, it should push outwards. Hopefully it holds. If not, we got a nice mess to clean up. Okay, time to put in the first shovel load and hope for the best. Alright, first bit of concrete is in place. Now it's just a matter of repeating until it's satisfactory. This should even out once the other concrete has been put into place. This should hopefully even that out. That needs filling up, so hopefully I got enough bags. Alright, we're back at it. It's actually been a few days since the last video. You can see that the insulation board has been changed with some wooden planks. The insulation board was curving in too much, so not a good idea. I found some planks and I hammered some supports together. On the inside I nailed on some hardboard so that the concrete would not go into the gaps. These planks are not so great. Some have holes in them and curves, so that should even that out. So the existing concrete that I had poured with the insulation panel I had taken that all off. It was still wet, so I redid it. But that was around 8 o'clock in the evening, so I did not continue on to finish it off. So that's what we'll be doing today, smoothing that all out and finishing pretty much up to here. Let that dry, and then we can move the plank up. Surprisingly, this is actually quite level both ways, so we try to match that over here as well. You can see that there is a bit of a gap underneath it, but for something that's probably about 150 years old, it's not bad. So that's what we're going to do. I did buy some more concrete, so I got 4 bags over here. That won't be enough. Another 7 bags there, and that's a pile of 13, so that's 20. Hopefully that'll do. These were on special. Only issue is that they were sold at the hardware store, which is about 35 kilometers away. It takes 40 minutes to get there and 40 minutes back. So you do spend a bit of time, you lose a bit of time with traveling. But these are €3.20 per bag for 30 kilos. If you go to a local construction building material supply store, they want between 6 to 8 euros a bag for 25 kilos. So it quickly becomes evident that it's worth the time to travel 35 kilometers to get them from the hardware store, the DIY store. So we got a little bit work to do, finish that off, and on to the next part. So I only made 1 plank, and we can keep moving up. All right, let's get going. All right, we're back. It's the next day after pouring. Doesn't look too bad. Removed all of the bricks, or the blocks, and the supports. Let's see how it turns out. I think I need 2 hands and a hammer. All right, that came off quite easily. Here we have it. So you can see we got a bit of an opening over here, even though I did stamp quite vigorously with a pole. Obviously didn't come quite down here. It's not really the end of the world. Can always fix that up with a bit of mortar cement. As well as a little patch over there, but the rest doesn't look too bad. That little corner needs some extra cement mortar on top so that it's a bit straighter. The plank did not go all the way there because this wall is not quite straight. But this is the part that I did yesterday. You can see the join. That came out pretty well. Looks like it's gone all the way down to the bottom. And here on top it looks pretty good. You can see here with the join with the top and this part. It's not 100%, but again, we can fix that. Overall, I'm pretty happy. You can see here this board is quite wet, so can let it dry a little bit. Scrape off this cement residue, and we can continue on with the rest. All right, it's a couple days later after the last video. And this is all done. Just need a couple areas patched up with a bit of cement, like over here and down there. It looks like the concrete worm has set in. And of course you want to make this side a bit more pretty, because you see this, and then the last bag I had seemed to be a bit more stony than the rest, so got a bit more of a rougher texture and the rougher surface, but we'll have to do. And then this is like that, just have to fill that in, make that all straight. Then this side here I'm leaving, and it's pretty much already all filled in. This they already made slanted at the bottom. I just need to fill in that hole, it's a drain hole from the other side. At the moment it's a perfect mouse nest hole, so fill that one up as well as the other. I did fill that little bit there, so that's all filled up over there, and the end can only be done once the rest has found a new home. So I have to smoothen off the joints, as well as that one and that one, and then in the corner a little bit, so this has been filled in a bit more. Smoothing that one off. This one here is already pretty smooth, and it shouldn't take much work to do, finish that all off. So if you're wondering how many bags of concrete, 7 bags into that section here, 4 bags in this section, 2.5 for this one, and the end here was also 2.5. It did come out a little further than I wanted, but there was quite a large hole here on the inside full of soil. So if you're wondering why is there soil, well, it's a stone wall, and in the 1800s they did not have insulation, so they had one stone wall here, that was stone wall here, and in between they would just throw dirt, soil, clay, whatever for insulation, as well as filling up the gap. And that's why it's coming out at the bottom, because there used to be, the wall used to continue here, so once that was taken away, it's all soil, and over here it did support it, but at the bottom not. So now that's all supported, and the rest is looking okay. Can always be painted. There was a hole here in this block, so that has been filled in. This here needs a little bit more of a filling. Here's my supporting plank, and that covers the concreting adventure. It's a total of 480 kilos of concrete used, as I say, so 2.5, that's 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 7 is 16. 16 bags of concrete at 30 kilos each, all mixed in a wheelbarrow. Don't know how much water went in there. I'm going to use rainwater, so no water costs. And that concludes this project. Other than a little touch-ups, but that's easy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next project.